Hi, welcome back. This is week 2 of the Evolution Knit Along. This week we're going to work on the transition from sections 3 to 4, and then it's all about cables for all of section 4. So a couple things I'm going to go over is the whys and wherefores of some of the things we do in the transition area. I'm going to talk about when and how to do the mirror imaging correctly. And then finally I'll show you a couple different ways to do cables so you can pick which one you like the best. Let's get to work. Okay, so our first topic is the section 3 to 4 transition. This is just 2 rows, and I've actually already done them on my sample piece, and there's only 2 things I want to talk about. The first thing is why are we having those increases? So basically every 3-stitch column coming out of section 3 is turning into a 4-stitch column, and the reason for that is that those 4-stitch columns are going to be cabled. And cables suck in stitches horizontally. That means that if I didn't do an increase there, the whole cabled section would suck in across the whole thing and it would be much skinnier than the rest of the shawl. We don't want that, it doesn't look right. So in every 3-stitch column you'll see an increase. Make one, just lift the bar, twist it, and knit through that twisted stitch. So on the right hand side, the make ones are between the first and the second stitch, and the reason for that is these 2 stitches will cross over those 2 stitches and completely hide the increase. And then if you look over on the left hand side, the make one is between the second and third stitch. That's because on the left hand side we're going to do that cable in the opposite direction. So these 2 stitches are going to be cabled over that way. If you care deeply about perfect mirror imaging, you can do a different increase on the left hand side compared to the right hand side, but because that's totally 100% hidden behind the first cable crossing, I would say don't bother. Do whichever make one feels more comfortable to you. For me, it's a make one right on the purl side. So that's the transition from 3 to 4, and again the reason is that we need a lot more stitches in the cabled section in order to make it the same width as the textured section that comes right before it. Okay, let's do some cabling now. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make a 2/2 cable. Remember, on the right hand side of the shawl those cables twist to the right, on the left hand side of the shawl those cables twist to the left. I'm going to show you how to do it with a cable needle and then also without a cable needle, and I will also demonstrate both of those methods with the yarn held in the right hand and then also with the yarn held in the left hand, so commonly known as English and Continental. Let's go ahead and get started. So to cable a 2/2 right cross, we need to knit these 2 stitches, the 3rd and 4th stitch, on the left hand needle before the first 2 stitches. So one way to do this is to slip those first 2 stitches to a cable needle, hold them behind the work because we're going to do a right cross, knit those 2 stitches that are next on the left needle, and then knit the 2 stitches from the cable knit. So that is a 2/2 right cross, English style, using a cable needle. Let's get to the next cable. So next up I'll do the same cross, but I won't use the cable needle. So this is a cable needle-less 2/2 right cross, English style. So you hold the yarn in the front, you slip the first 2 stitches to the right needle, you knit those next 2 stitches. Now we got to knit those first stitches, but they're kind of hidden right now. So with the yarn in front, you reach around behind, let me see if you can see that, and put your needle through not the first 2 stitches, but the 3rd and the 4th stitch on the right hand needle. Pinch everything so it doesn't get lost. Temporarily pull the right needle out of all 4 stitches and then put the right hand needle just in the 2 stitches you've already made. So those would have been previously the 3rd and the 4th stitch. So pull those out of the way. Lost my stitches. Hang on one second. Okay, so now we've knit the first 2, time to knit the second 2. Trust me, this is easier than I'm making it look. I apologize for that. Okay, next up, all those methods but managing the yarn with the left hand, which is actually my preferred way of knitting. Okay, yarn in the left hand. Get your cable needle. Slide 2 stitches onto the cable needle. Put those on the back. Put those behind everything. Knit 2 stitches, the next 2 stitches. You can see why I prefer not using a cable needle, because I do sort of feel like it gets in the way. And then knit 2 stitches from the cable needle. So 2/2 right cross, done with a cable needle, yarn held in the left hand. Get to the next spot, Put a purl 3 in between each one of these, don't forget to do that. Okay, final one, we're going to do a 2 over 2 right cross, no cable needle. So flip the yarn to the front, slide those 2 stitches in, flip the yarn to the back, knit 2, we're right up to the middle, that's okay, there's one of these right at the middle. Behind the work, put your needle in those 2 stitches only, pull the right hand needle out of all 4, put them back in the ones you've already knit, make sure the yarn is in the correct location, and knit the final 2 stitches. As I mentioned, we're now at the center, so you can see I've marked my spine with a locking stitch marker. I just move that up every couple of rows. So knit 1, yarn over, knit 1 for the center spine, and now we're on to the left hand side of the shawl. So on the left hand side of the shawl we are doing a 2 over 2 left cross. Let's see, so let's start yarn in the right hand using a cable needle. Since this is a left cross, instead of holding the stitches to the back, now they're held in front. So cable needle to the front, knit 2, and then knit 2 from the cable needle. I hate to denigrate cable needles, they totally have their place. I mean, I recently did a project where the cables were 24 stitches wide, so it's 12 over 12 crossing. You need a cable needle for that. My opinion, personally, is that for smaller cables it's easier just to forget the darn things. Okay, so 2 over 2 left cross, yarn held in the right hand, using the cable needle less method. So again, we're making it's a left cross, so those stitches need to be front. So move the yarn into the back, slip 2 stitches over, knit the next 2. Now in the front we're going to slide the left hand needle into just the stitches that you've already made, or rather just the stitches that you've slipped. Slide the right hand needle out of all 4, put it back in just the 2 that you've already made, and then knit the last 2 stitches. Try not to let the stitches fall off your needle. Alrighty then. Okay, so I did that. What did I do? I did yarn in the right hand with the cable needle, yarn in the left hand without a cable needle. That's kind of a weird order, isn't it? I apologize for that. Anyway, so we're back to using a cable needle, but yarn held in the left hand. So slip those 2 stitches to a cable needle, hold it in front, knit 2 stitches off your left needle, all the while cursing the cable needle, and then knit 2 stitches off the cable needle. So if you were afraid of your stitches flying places, the cable needle's the way for you. If you're a little bit braver, I say ditch that sucker. So we've now done all but one of the 4 possible ways that I'm showing you today. So the last one is yarn held in the right hand without a cable needle. So left cross, so we put the yarn in front, slip 2 stitches over, put the yarn in back, knit 2 stitches, move the yarn to the front just to keep it out of the way. Oh, I did the wrong kind. Go back. Undo what I just did. What am I doing? Left cross? Right, okay, so yarn in back, slip 2 stitches to the needle, knit 2 stitches, put your left needle in the stitches that you slipped, pull the right needle out of all 4 stitches and just put it back in the 2 that you already knit, and then knit those last 2 stitches. So there you have it. 4 different ways to do the same cables. I hope you pick one that works for you, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.